reading your comments, and I keep seeing the same one over and over again.
Oh, she has a big head.
Now I beg to differ. I'm pretty confident that my head is pretty average size. So before I get started on today's hyper-realistic cake, let's see who's right by doing a little test. I just received this bike helmet, which I assume fits people with normal-sized heads. So if it fits, then I'm right and I have a normal-sized noggin. And if it doesn't, then my accusers are correct and I will look into head shrinking surgery. This is a foolproof test. Do not question me. Okay, so I'm gonna give it to you. It's like a tiny bit snug. All right, I admit my head is a little bit large. Just like barely. My head is just barely large. My name is Natalie Sideserf, and I make cakes that don't look like cakes. And today I'm gonna show you how I made a bike helmet cake. The big head lore that's been making its way into the comments of my videos is usually said in videos that feature a very specific cake that I made, my selfie cake. While my head may be slightly large, it is definitely emphasized by the angle of my camera. So I'm going to chalk this whole big head thing up to forced perspective, to camera angles, because it makes me feel better. Forced perspective is a photography technique where you can adjust the angle that you take a photo to make things seem closer or farther away,
smaller,
larger. A good example of this is when I lined my cake head up with my body in this shot. I find this to be hilarious. I look like a bobblehead. My cake head looks huge compared to my body because it's much closer to the camera, creating an optical illusion.
It's an optical illusion.
I've always found illusions to be really interesting, especially as a kid. I guess it makes sense that I grew up to make hyper-realistic illusion cakes. I used to love optical illusions. I still do. Do you remember Magic Eye? Or have you ever heard of Magic Eye? Magic Eye is a series of books from the 90s that were full of optical illusion images. If you look at the 2D image just right, a 3D scene will appear. But not everyone is able to see the 3D scene. It takes a little work. I'm gonna see if I can still do it. I don't have a book, but I have a screen, so let's see if this works. So you put your face really close and you unfocus your vision. And then you slowly back it up. And I got it. It's a camel. Here, I made one for you guys. It is a very important message. Let me know in the comments if you can see it. There's another illusion that absolutely blew my mind as a kid and adult. It's called Pepper's Ghost. I'm gonna try to use my big brain inside my big head to give you the gist of how this illusion works. An audience is looking at a stage, completely unaware that there is a large sheet of glass in front of it, because you know, glass is clear. And there is a small room with props in it off to the side. It's also out of sight, so the audience can't see it. By messing with the lighting and the angle of the glass, you're able to project the props in the small room onto the glass so that the audience sees what looks like see-through versions of the props on stage. But really, it's just a reflection of the props on the glass. I hope that kind of explains it. The illusion is named after scientist John Henry Pepper. Do you think he got his PhD? Do you think he's Dr. Pepper? Pepper's Ghost is what he's best known for, but I read that he also tried to make it rain using large explosions. That seems like a pretty bold attempt. So yeah, this guy is awesome. A dude in the 1800s trying to make it rain with explosions? I mean, come on. He's best friend material. So the whole rain thing didn't work out, but Pepper's Ghost definitely did. And I know because I've seen it in real life. And you may have too. Have you ever heard of Walt Disney World/Land? They use Pepper's Ghost on a bunch of attractions, including one of my absolute favorite amusement park rides ever. There are a few examples of the use of Pepper's Ghost in that ride, but the absolute best, most impactful, and elaborate example is in the Haunted Ballroom. Excuse me.
Haunted Ballroom.
I'm having fun using spooky voice. In this scene, we look down on a haunted ballroom where dozens of ghosts are dancing and they're eating and just having a party. There's music and laughs. It's fantastic. And I remember feeling so excited as a kid when I first saw this. I was genuinely overwhelmed. I just loved it so much. I had no clue how it worked, and I didn't even care to figure it out because I just chalked it up to magic. Optical illusions have also been used a lot in film. especially before CGI became a thing. One of the best in the business was Harold Lloyd. He was a big deal during the silent film era. He'd make these films with big chase scenes, and then he'd end up in a sticky situation. In one of his films, he climbed out of a window and hung from the hands of a clock that's like way above the street. And he did all of this by manipulating the scenes, creating an optical illusion. I mean, to be fair, the stunt was still pretty dangerous, just not hanging from a clock tower 15 stories high dangerous. He really utilized a mattress as a cushion. I imagine the conversation went like this.
Hey fella, we need a safety net.
What about a mattress, Lloyd?
A mattress is a swell idea. That's the ticket.
His stunts are still entertaining and believable. It is such an art. He's the bee's knees. Now let's talk about a famous artist whose work focused on optical illusion. M.C. Escher. Did you ever have a moment when you were young where you saw a piece of art and for the first time in your life, you truly appreciated it? Like you really looked at that work and you found it fascinating? Well, that happened to me while I was looking at M.C. Escher's work. That doesn't mean that his work is meant for children. However, it's entertaining for people of all ages. It's surreal and confusing. It's extremely fun to look at. I always find myself trying to make my way around the scene that he created, trying to understand where things begin and end. I can still look at his work for hours. And what's crazy is that he spent most of his life as an unknown in the art world. He was born in 1898 and first received recognition for his work in 1966. Today, Escher is one of the most famous artists who have ever lived. His work is seen by people all over the world every day. I think that optical illusions are the best. I still can't believe that I literally make illusions for a living, and I love it. Like this one. This illusion cake here looks like a helmet, but by golly, it's a cake. If you told me, back when I was a kid, that I'd grow up to be a sculptor who creates illusion art that playfully tricks millions of people and you can eat it, I wouldn't believe you. Not at all. But that's the direction my interests have taken me. I've been making hyper-realistic cakes for a decade, and just now in my career, I feel like I finally found my stride. And it's taken a lot of practice and dedication to get where I am now. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep creating because it makes me happy. And people tell me that it makes them happy too. And I can't think of anything better than that. And there you have it, a bike helmet cake. I like when I make an object that is hard in real life because then when I cut it, it's all soft looking and it's squishy. It's like, what? All right, let's cut the cake. If you like this video and subscribe to this channel. I post a new cake every week. Thanks for watching, you guys. I will see you next week for another cake. It's because my hair's big. It just makes my head look big.